Hi, so I'm making this video in response to the live video that Jennifer from JnR Morphs posted to her Facebook. I will start by saying that Jennifer has been, a great woman to work with until now. Her snakes are kept in good condition, and the ones that I do have from her are doing quite fine. For example, I know she talked about the het pied pair I got from her. I sold the male. This is the female. She's doing just fine. She's healthy. She isn't, she's eating great. She should be breeding size by next season. She's doing great. Very curious. Hi. She's doing great. She's doing fine. I'm really happy with her. She's being a turd now. I gotta see if I can try to get her back in her tub with one arm. But yeah, she's over 1,000 grams now. Come on, there we go. She's almost getting big enough to go up to the next size tub. So, and then the other snake I got from her is Pixel. Yep. Come on. Here's Pixel. She's doing just fine. She's healthy. She's getting bigger. She's eating. She switched over to rat pups. She's actually getting a little chunky. But she's doing perfectly fine. So this whole situation, it got blown out of proportion because I was frustrated because I bought 4 snakes from her. The first 2 were the 2 het pieds. They're supposed to both be females. And, I was just frustrated over 2 out of those 4 snakes being missexed. The reason I reacted the way I did to her messages, because her initial response came across to me as, you agreed to the sex, the animal, so it's your problem now. That's how I read it. Had she have waited and given me a more thorough response, giving me an option, then I wouldn't have said what I said. But, yeah, so the whole thing about the first het pied that was missexed, I was still new to snakes and the whole breeding aspect. So I didn't think of, I didn't really think to check until months after the purchase was made. So when I did figure that out, I didn't think it'd be fair for me to reach out to her expecting her to fix it. That's my problem. I'll deal with it. I sold the snake to someone and, he's doing just fine. But then, when I brought it up to her later, she said I should have reached out to her about it. And the thing I kind of think is weird is she said I should have reached out to her even though it had been months. But then she's complaining that I waited several days until after the expo to say anything. And there was a reason for that. I did notice the first snake, he had a rat in him still. He was still digesting a rat. His belly was, clearly full. I personally am concerned about the fact that she brought a snake to the expo that was still digesting food. If I'm going to take a snake to a show, I'm not going to feed it right before the show. Just because I don't want to risk regurgitation. The snake didn't regurgitate, which I'm kind of surprised about, but that's, I don't know. That's kind of not really my point. That's me personally. I want to do that. But yeah, I was just giving that snake a few days to finish digesting the food, because I didn't want to stress him out anymore and cause him to regurgitate. So that's the reason for that. Let's see. And then she also mentioned Robbie, my fiance. She brought him into it, and that's a no-no. He is not a snake person. He does not know how to sex snakes. That's why I didn't ask him to, because he doesn't know how to do that. He helps me with the cleaning, he helps me with the feeding, he helps with the rodents, that's it. I run the social media, I do all the record keeping, I do all the, pairing, all that stuff. If we're going to purchase a snake, I'm usually the one purchasing animals. He's just helping. So, there really is no reason to bring him into the equation. He has nothing to do with this. So, I don't have an issue with her making mistakes, because I know everyone makes mistakes. I agree with that. I make mistakes. Everyone does. It's, I don't appreciate her going through old posts of mine and taking them out of context to drag me through the mud. Because that, to me, is really unprofessional. But I know she also mentioned about me, she offered to come to my place to swap out the snakes. And that's great. She did go above and beyond to do that. I appreciate that. I think that's great. But at the same time, I also did not ask her to, nor did I expect her to do that. I would have been perfectly fine driving to Evansville to swap out a snake. I drove over there to pick up one thing of bedding from her. So swapping out a snake wouldn't have been an issue to me. Like I said, I appreciate it, but it wasn't necessary, nor was it really, I don't know. But, so, yeah, I'm still fairly new to this. I got my first ball python in August of 2018. I'm not saying that I know more than Jennifer, that I'm better than her, or anything like that, I think she's been doing this maybe a year or two longer than I have, so she's still fairly new, So she was mentioning how many clutches. I produced 4 ball python clutches last year and 1 hognose clutch. This year I did not produce anything. None of my females went for me. Just kind of bad luck. I am pairing them to hopefully get more clutches in 2022. But that's the thing. She's still fairly new to this. She might have produced more clutches than me, but we're both new. We're both learning. I'm not angry at her if she, maybe didn't notice that some males have smaller hemipenes. It's something I probably wouldn't have noticed right away either, but I'm very observant about things. I kind of pay attention to detail a little more. And so, I noticed that. The whole thing with hemipenes is they're full of blood. So when you pop the snake, the hemipenes are red. And, regardless of the size, they're still going to be red because they're full of blood. Now on a female, there's no need for all those blood vessels in there, so it's usually just whitish flesh, or, it's kind of the tissue's kind of whitish or pinkish. It's a pretty obvious difference if you're paying attention. Okay, so I'm cutting in here, I'm editing the video, and so I'm gonna basically mention whatever I do, kind of put edits. I'm not cutting out any footage, I am only adding in footage. I'm going to add to this, showing the male, or the female that I got as the replacement animal. And I will show you what the hemipenes look like on him versus another snake of mine that was sold to me as a male. The fact that she pulled up that post that I was talking about, that exanthic male, which actually, let me go pull him out. Come here. He's healthy. He's pretty. I love him. I love his color. He's beautiful, but I don't need 4 males for one project. Which, here, babe, can you come here? I will show you on camera that this is in fact a male and not a female. So this, you know, is supposed to be a female. Oop, come on. If I can get him to not poop everywhere, I will, you know, gently pop them. Those are hemipenes. So I'm gonna go grab another male that I have that was sold to me as a male. Okay, come on, back in there. So this was sold to me as a male. He is a pastel crystal, which is a pastel, you know, special Mojave. So let's go over to the light again, just so you can see this. You pop him. He's got small hemipenes just like the other male. So that is without a doubt a male. He just didn't have super long hemipenes like the other one. I could understand her missexing the smaller, you know, males with smaller hemipenes, but you know, me telling her that she needs to learn to sex animals was more of she needs to be more observant and be willing to learn that, hey, just because they're not big ass hemipenes doesn't automatically mean it's a female. It's just she, you know, she mentioned she only had 3 missexed animals. Well, that's fine. You know, that she mentioned that's the ones that have been reported to her. Which, yeah, fine, but I lost my train of thought. The thing is, she was mentioning those are the ones reported to her. Most people who have purchased from her have purchased their animals as a pet, so I don't think them knowing the sex for sure is really important. For me, though, I'm a breeder, so when I purchase an animal, I expect it to be the sex and morphs that it was advertised as. Excuse me. And while, yeah, I probably responded a little too aggressively to her, and I do apologize for that, but when you come off as dismissive, I don't really care for that. That's just me. But, like, you know, I was saying, you know, I'm still learning, and, you know, I try my best to learn from my mistakes. And I take every opportunity I can to correct errors in my husbandry. Like, for example, you hear this running back here. We have a humidifier. Because here in the winter times it gets really dry. And I have issues with shedding because of that. So we try putting a humidifier up to hopefully help that. Which I think we need a second one because that one isn't really getting the humidity where I want it to be. So usually in the winter time I will go through, and if I notice a snake in a shed, I will spray down their tub with water to kind of boost that humidity, because the last thing I want is a bad shed. So I'm going to talk about some of the things she mentioned in her video. She was going through my posts and making these points. I don't think these are in order because I was kind of trying to take in everything she was saying, but so I'll go ahead and read these off. So I do understand some of the things that I post or are questionable. And the problem is I see it this one way, and I don't realize that people might not see it the same way I do. But once I point it out, I will delete the picture because I realize, oh, crap, that's wrong. That's not right. You know, I don't really think things through, and that's something I need to work on. That's a problem I've had for a while, and yeah, I admit to that. I have an issue with that. Now, a lot of other things I post about, like, regurgitations, you know, hatchlings passing away, things like that, I share that to be transparent. The issue I see with a lot of breeders is they don't post any of the negative aspects of the hobby. They post all the good things, and so people get this false narrative that, oh, everything's all peachy and golden, there's rainbows and sparkles, everything's great. But that's not the truth. Just, any kind of breeding you do with reptiles, mammals, whatever, there's always bound to have things happen. Like, even rat breeding. Sometimes there's stillborns. Sometimes they'll come out deformed. There's nothing you can do about that. But I share that to be informative and to be transparent because, I want to educate people and share my experiences. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not taking care of my animals properly. Okay, so... Okay, and then she also mentioned the head rub on one of the hatchlings that I had, which I actually have her... I'll actually mention something else. She was complaining about the snake being in too small of a tub, which she was. I can agree with that. But shortly after that, I actually moved her to a bigger tub. So this is her. She's got a little bit of stuck shut on her back, but this is Blue. She's got a bit of a scar on her head from that, but the reason why she had the head rub was because the hatchling rack we purchased, we got it from Dan Herman, back here. So you see that middle kind of divider? The original hatchling rack we had did not have that divider, so the hatchlings were able to push at the top of the tub, and I had some of them kind of rub their heads. Some of them completely broke it open like she did, and some actually got out. That was due to a design flaw and not because I wasn't caring for them properly. Once I got a hold of Dan, let him know what was happening, and he had me exchange the rack, and after I got that fixed, I didn't have that problem anymore. So, there's a reason behind that. It wasn't just me neglecting them. So, yeah, and so about dirty tubs. I check on my snakes almost daily. Usually I don't check on them right after feeding because I don't want to stress them out. But I check on these snakes almost every day to every other day because I want to make sure their enclosures are clean. I go through every single one of them, make sure they have water, make sure they're, if there's a mess, I clean it up. And then, she's talking about how there's messes being left in there for days at a time. It's like, okay, when you breed ball python, well, I don't know if this is with any snake or just ball pythons, but they do make a mess. And that's the thing, while they're breeding, I do not disturb them. It is counterproductive for me to go in there and pull them out just to clean up the mess they just made. They kind of poop everywhere, kind of as a way of spreading their pheromones and stuff. It's, once they're done locking, I pull them and I clean the tub. It's so they're not going to get scale rot from sitting in poop for 3 days. Yeah, it's something that happens. Okay, so paper towel thing, that, honestly, that's my choice. If she wants to keep her snakes on bedding, actual substrate, that's fine. But the reason why I keep mine on paper towels is because it's easier for me to spot when there's a mess. If I kept them on coconut bedding, I might not see that there's a turd in there, I might not see there's a mess. Because, I actually have seen other breeders, use paper or paper towel because they wouldn't see the messes. And the other thing is with having paper towels is that it's easier for me to see if the snakes have mites or, if there's any weird things going on with them. Because I keep my colubrids on aspen bedding, and sometimes what will happen is, like they'll bury their poop, so I can't see the poop unless I smell it. And then sometimes they will not eat their food for whatever reason. Sometimes I'll leave food in there because some of them won't eat in front of me, and then they don't eat it and it gets buried and I don't notice it until it starts stinking. And that's something with bedding. I think if I switched all my non-colubrids to bedding, I'd have more issues with keeping them clean because I don't notice that. And I'm not going to go scooping through the poop or scooping through the bedding looking for the poop. Okay, and then there's also the regurgitation problems she mentioned with one of the hatchlings. that was my own problem. The problem with that is I was feeding too big of a mouse. For some reason, I got it stuck in my head that baby ball pythons can handle adult mouse right off the bat. I don't know why. I think some breeder mentioned that, and no, that was wrong. Once I started feeding them smaller meals, they kept it down. It was because I was feeding an adult mouse when they should have been eating hoppers. Which, again, I was new. I didn't know that, but now I feed my babies hoppers. Hoppers to, small adults, depending on how big the snake is. Now, the thing about holding my snakes, that, I understand why people might not agree to that, but I know my snakes, and if they're prone to stressing, I won't mess with them. It's the reason why I'll hold up my hog noses while they're eating, is so they don't get bedding stuck to their food. Sometimes when I am feeding my ball pythons, I will let them wrap and I'll pick them up out of their enclosure because I'll notice a mess in there. I don't want them eating on their own piss. So I'll take them out of there and have, Robbie clean them. And then I'll put them back in there before they're done unwrapping. I've not had any issues with regurgitating. If I noticed there was a regurgitation, then I'd stop messing with them completely. Okay. Okay. Now, the next thing she was bringing up was she was saying that I was feeding my colubrids rats. And I honestly don't know how she... Okay. So I will show you right here. Here is a baby mouse and a baby rat. You see the size difference. I will tell you right now, a baby a baby hognose would not be able to eat a full-on rat pink. Let me grab this little girl here. Nope, she's not where I can grab her. She is one of my smallest hognoses. That's the thing. Baby colubrids are very small when they hatch out. She's also in a shed. But see how small she is. And I'll compare. She's not going to try to bite him, but she would not be able to eat a rat pink. That is way too big for her. She'd be able to eat this, just not this. She's also very squirmy, as most baby colubrids are. So see, I have her in aspen bedding so she can bury herself. But yeah, no. Colubrids are specifically fed mice. They would not be able to fit a whole ass, rat pink in their mouth. I'll put these guys back up when I'm done with the video, but the only ones I've ever fed rats is my adult females. And normally I don't even really feed them that. It's usually like an extra treat every once in a while. Their staple diet is mice. Because, yeah, you think you're getting food. I'm not feeding you. Nope, come on. But, no, that's just blatantly wrong. I don't feed my colubrids rats. They get pinky mice. That was kind of my biggest issue with that. Something I did want to clarify is that I'm only feeding my baby colubrids, the baby hognoses, baby king snakes, the pinkies. As they get older, they'll be moved up to, fuzzies, hoppers, and then adult mice. But, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so on to the next point. So she also mentioned how Pixel had bites in her from a mouse. And, okay, so the reason that happened was, I know she mentioned, okay, I work at home, but that specific day we had left and went to, I think it was the Bowling Green show, the first one that Morphs put on. And about halfway there, I realized, oh shit, I forgot to take that mouse out of her tub. And I have issues with remembering to do things. I have to set reminders for myself or else I forget. That's the thing. I don't normally leave rodents in with my snakes unless it's, you know, a pinky or a pup or, you know, something that's not going to bite them. That wasn't something I did on purpose. I just generally forgot to go and take the mouse back out of her tub before we left. But I kept an eye on her, made sure that she healed, and, you know, I showed her, and I'll show her again, which I need to clean her tub. Looks like she made a mess of it. We did clean earlier today, but, you know, I can't check on my snakes 24/7. I can't be in here observing for them to poop at all minutes of the day. Okay, so Robbie does not work anymore. I have taken over paying the bills. I am the only one working. I do art, and that's what pays the bills now. So I'm usually sitting at my desk drawing, and that's what I'm doing most of the day. But as you see, let me get in the better light here. She's fine. She healed. If there had been any sign of infection, I would have taken her to the vet. There's no question about it. Actually, let me clean this now. Like, there's a little bit of urates in there. And that's the thing, if I were using another bedding, I might not have noticed that. I use paper towel, wipe it down, kind of dry it up a bit in there. If it's like particularly messy, I'll usually have Robbie clean it out, spray it down real good. And then paper towel, put a new one in there. She's still got water, so she's good on that. And there we go. Now her tub's clean. Well, usually when I notice a mess, I'll clean it. But yeah, when I realized that I had left that mouse in there, I was freaking out. Like, because I knew, I had a feeling in the back of my head, oh, that mouse is going to chew the crap out of her. And it did. Wasn't terrible, but still, I felt horrible about it. These guys are my babies. They're everything to me, and when something goes wrong, it hurts me. I don't like messing up like that. But, you know, it was a mistake. But, you know, it's something I try to remember not to do. But then she also mentioned about me selling a lot of animals. You know, I'll buy an animal and then I'll sell it. Okay, so when I first got into this, I had an issue with impulse buying. But I have learned not to do that. So if I buy an animal, it's because I'm going to use it for a project. Now, some of the animals I've sold was because I had a change in plans for my projects. Not because I got bored of them. The crested geckos I had, she mentioned, oh, I posted a dead baby on, like, oh, look at this dead baby. No, I was showing my experience. I did not breed that gecko. She had apparently been paired before I got her. And she had laid 2 eggs, and, you know, one was fertile, the other one wasn't, but the baby didn't make it. I was just showing that because I want to be transparent. This is what happened. Because I don't want to post about it, and then nobody hears about it. It's like, oh, what happened to that gecko? Yeah, no, I'm not going to hide that kind of stuff. But I did end up selling the crested geckos because I realized I wasn't really as interested in them as I was with the snakes, and I noticed I was slacking on their care. And I recognized that, and I'm like, you know, this isn't right for me, so I sold them. Because I wanted someone to take them that would, you know, give them the care and attention they deserve. Because I do care about my animals. You know, so now Butters, my butter female. She said I sold her as a pet only. No, I did not sell her. I still have her right here. She's right here. Now her jaw still looks kind of funky, but she also got beads put in it, and I don't think this will come out. So the reason why I bred her was because the vet told me that her jaw was just scar tissue. So I figured, you know, I wasn't sure, and she was building follicles, so I decided to pair her. You know, if I had known how big of an issue it was, I wanted to bred her, and I don't plan to breed her anymore. She's a pet only now. You know, I've spent thousands of dollars on this girl trying to get her abscess fixed. You know, so the thing with that, I've been dealing with her issue for probably over 2 years now, and part of that was because of COVID. That kind of messed everything up. But I went to about 3 different vets trying to get her fixed. And I finally took her to the University of Illinois to get her looked at by, good vets. And that's when they figured out it was an abscess, in the jawbone. Or it could be potentially in the jawbone. So she had surgery done to remove it. She's doing just fine. She looks kind of funny. I don't think she's ever going to look normal again. Just, and they did say the abscess could come back. And, at that point, it's either I try to get it removed again or we put her down. But I don't think it's affecting her in any way because she still drinks and eats and does normal snake things. Hey, girly. Hey. You're such a sweetheart. Yes, you are. I love you. Yeah, baby, talk my snakes. What? Yeah, you're a sweet girl. But no, I kept her. I'm not gonna make my problem someone else's problem. I take care of my snakes. Oh, come on. Get in there. So yeah, no, I still have her. I don't plan to breed her anymore. Because, I don't want to put that extra stress on her body. The only reason I would breed her is if the vet okayed it or whatever. But, I'm not really going to worry about that. I got other females that I can breed. And she also mentioned how our house smelled awful. It's like, oh, it stunk. Okay, well, this was the end of the week, right before we usually clean. We usually clean our rodent tubs once a week. Usually on Saturday or Sunday. And, this was like Friday or something like that. So, yeah, it's going to stink. The other thing is we have the mice in the dining room. Mice stink a lot more than rats do. So, that mouse smell is probably also all over the dang house. And I don't know why she thinks it was worse than her house or whatever, but we clean our rat tubs once a week, because otherwise if I were to come in here and have to smell that, the ammonia gets so bad that I feel like I'm choking. So no, not only that, but I'm not going to do that to my rodents. That's, I want healthy rodents to feed to my snakes, and my snakes will be healthy. So she also showed a picture of a rat that she claimed died due to the mites. That rat was 3 years old. That was one of the first rats we got when we started breeding our rodents. She was over 3 years old. The mite issue I have treated before, but it came back. And, the first time I just put some ivermectin in the water, and that fixed it. So I need to put more ivermectin in there and treat it again. They keep coming. I'm not sure if they're coming from the bedding or what exactly is going on with that. We also have wild mice getting into our house. So I don't know if maybe they're somehow spreading mites to my rats and mice. Well, I haven't noticed any issues with the mice. It's just the rats. So I don't know if it's coming from the bedding or where the heck it's coming from, because like I said, I've treated it before. I don't like seeing my rats like that, and so, I need to get that done. I had to let my mom borrow it for a while so she could treat her rats, because she had gotten a few for me to keep as pets. And, yeah, I need to do that, because, they probably feel awful scratching at themselves so much. But she was saying how my snakes have respiratory infections, and none of my snakes have respiratory infections. None of them. I'll go through here and just open these tubs. Looks like this girl made a mess. And the thing is, yeah, there's crumbly urates. They might have been stuck to the water bowl. I don't know. Like I said, we cleaned in here earlier. The thing is, things dry out pretty fast. It's not super humid in our reptile room. That's why I mentioned we need a second humidifier. Like, she's got a little spot there I need to clean up. It's just I can't be expected to be here right in here all the time. They don't have respiratory infections. I would be in a very bad spot if I had all these sick snakes. You know, I produced those babies in 2020. I sold all the babies that I didn't keep, and they did just fine. You know, I haven't had any complaints. Oh yeah, you want food. But I'd be more than happy to let people come here and look at my snakes. Oh, yeah, you don't like me. This one's spicy. No, go back in there. You made a mess. So that's a fresh one. It's still wet. I'll be cleaning this up when I'm done with the video. And there's the cat again. There's another one. That's the thing, I'll check on my snakes once a day. If they make more messes when I'm gone, you know, I'll find it the next day. But my snakes are healthy, you know. Like, here's one of my hog noses that I produced. Don't eat yourself, you weirdo. This is Scarlet. I don't want her chomping on me. Probably smell like rodents. But she's healthy. Nothing wrong with her. She got bedding in her water. But yeah, keep these guys on Aspen. This girl, she needs to go on a diet. Some of my snakes I know are a little overweight, but I have been actively working to fix that. She's a little chunky. Just, you know, I kind of have to figure out what works best for most of them. Most of these guys do fine on a weekly diet. She's going to have to go to like every 2 weeks or something like that. Oh yeah, you're looking for food too. See, perfectly happy snake. She's just looking for food. Oop, not here. She's in here. Like, apricot, she is way too fat. So I'm going to be cutting back her feeding. Usually if you see this kind of like cleavage, I'm not feeding you. Excuse me. You see that her spine's kind of indented in. That's usually a sign of obesity. Most of my snakes don't look like that though. So I only have maybe 2 or 3 ball pythons that have issues with obesity. So I'm gonna come down here and show off. I know someone in the comments mentioned I'm thinking they're referring to my pewter bee Cookie. And when she hatched out, she was a non-feeder. She would not eat. I eventually got to the point where I had to start assist feeding her, but she's doing just fine now. She is getting chunky, she's healthy, she's eating, you know. I might have waited a little too long to start assist feeding, but I don't really like doing it, so, you know, that's something I'll have to be more vigilant on. If I notice, you know, they're not eating or getting too thin, then I will, you know, start assist feeding sooner. Here's Cream, she's in shed. This is Cookie's sibling. She's doing fine. Trying to think. Here's another. What did you do? You're just spilling water everywhere. Yeah, this is Honey. She's a spider yellow belly. She's another one of the ones I held back. And then the last over here, this is Kichi. Yeah, he thinks he's getting fed too. I mean, he's a pet only. We kind of notice his head looks a little weird. He was the only one of his clutch that survived. I don't know if it was an incubation issue or what happened. It was my first year breeding. You notice his tail is really short and he's got a little kink right there. But he'll be staying in the family as a pet only. I'm not ever going to sell him off to someone else. I mean, he's not really special needs or anything. He eats on his own, he poops on his own, he sheds on his own. He's not really what I would call breeding quality. So, he's just, a pet. I put a lot of work into making sure he thrived because I had to assist feed him for several months before he started catching on his own. So another thing, my whole Xanthic project. So, okay. This is the male I purchased to replace my other ones. He is a banana female maker fire VPI Xanthic. He's kind of chilling under his paper towel, so I'll leave him like that. So I picked him up to replace my other two males here. So I have a spider VPI Xanthic male, and I have a pasta vanilla het VPI Xanthic male. I already have 3 males for this project. That's why I'm selling the other 2, because I don't need three males. I have 1 female. That's Ava up there. She is my only Xanthic female. She's not an Xanthic. She's a pastel het VPI Xanthic. I also have another snake down in that bottom tub there that appears to be a spider Xanthic some sort, but I don't know what line she is, and I'm going to be test breeding to see what she is. So, me having a visual spider Xanthic, comparing that to another spider, no, that's not going to work. So that's why I picked up the other male. That, and I can make banana females, which I love banana, and banana females are pretty hard to come by. So, back up off the floor here. Oops. AirPods fell out of my pocket. Okay, so let's see, what else do I need to talk about? So I think that was all. Okay, so I'm going to record this separately because my outro when I was in the reptile was kind of all over the place. So yeah, it's basically, like I said, I wanted to just clarify some things, show my side of the story. Jennifer isn't all bad. I never said she's a bad breeder, but at this point, the way she handled the situation, it got way too far out of hand, and, I'm disappointed that I had to come to this. So, if you still want to back her up, if you still agree with her side of the story, then that's fine. You don't have to purchase from me. You don't have to do business with me. That's fine. I wanted to share my side of the story. For Jennifer, if she sees this video, all I gotta say is, judging off your video, you have nothing better to do with your time than attack someone on a personal level. And, that in itself is an incredibly unprofessional thing to do. And, it makes the whole community look bad because of one very incompetent or predatory breeder. The fact that this happened twice means it was probably not an error, and the personal attacks go to show that you're unable to separate business from your personal life. And I'm sorry you had to stoop so low. But that's all I have to say. So, the rest of you, take it as you will. Like I said, if you have any questions for me, if you need any more clarification, if you want to do a one-on-one video chat with me, go right ahead. If you're one of the people who have done business with me and have had positive experiences with me, I would greatly appreciate if you could mention that in the comments so that people can see how my customers see me. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to hear my side of the story, and I hope you all have a great night or evening or, whatever time it is for you. So, bye.